All right. We'll take this again in 3, 2. Hey guys, we're doing an impromptu live stream / video for you guys wanting to know how to play 2 players with the new AtGames feature. Glenn and I were discussing this week, why do our own separate videos when we could collaborate and do this together and actually show you. So, Glenn, here we are.
It's actually a better thing. Absolutely. I mean, it's a new 2-player feature, so you should have 2 people doing the video at the same time. And what better way to do that is someone in 2 different states playing it, right?
Yeah, with low latency. So
right,
it should be good.
We actually were just testing this a little bit yesterday, and it's actually really fun. My son, he's 14 now. He's kind of playing his Fortnite and his Minecraft with his friends. So I'm kind of left to either me and my dog Blue or just myself. So this is kind of a neat feature with this new firmware from AtGames. And again, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They're becoming like the Tesla of the home arcade field, because they can push these firmware updates and add some really neat features. And this 2-player feature is pretty cool. I never really thought how cool it would be, because I was never really big into online, playing online games or anything like that. And the classic games, I mean, there was a way to do it in MAME back in the day, but it was kind of a pain setting it up. So with this, it's kind of simplified, and it just works. And it works fairly well. Yesterday we were doing some fighting games, and he was literally pummeling me, not because of any latency, because I suck at the fighting games. So we'll try something else here, but what was just kind of neat about this is when you have to set this up initially, I want to say, you have to go to their website. You got to go into the ArcadeNet, log in to their portal there, and add your friends. All right, so you have to do that. The first thing you need to do is to add it in the web page. And once that's done, it'll translate that into your machine, and we'll show you that in a second. How you can add people to here. But another thing they also added, that's what I mentioned as well, which took me a little bit by surprise, was the vector games. And actually, I didn't even know about it until he told me. He said, Glenn, they also improved the vector games. Like, what do you mean? I remember like the Asteroids Deluxe, and Tempest didn't look very good. They looked very blocky and dark. And after you told me that, I looked on here, and the improvement to the vector games is substantial. I mean, they look really nice, especially on this monitor. The monitor they have in here, although it's a widescreen, some people say I don't want a widescreen, but you have the bezels on it, so it's fine for me. But the vectors just look so much better. I mean, if you haven't looked at them before, or you did and you weren't too happy with them, definitely look at the vector games now. We'll probably show you a little bit later as well. Did a really nice job. But what do you say we get into one of these games? I can show everyone how it works. Yeah,
no, absolutely. And one of the things that we did want to touch on, and I know the guys that were watching this a little earlier, they heard us say this, but we do want to cover this in the video, is that in the last...
talking before? Are you sure?
Yeah, it's Groundhog's Day. So what we did was we stated that everybody was worried on the last firmware update from AtGames that their countdown timer was taking away from their precious BYOG time, like using Steam. Now, AtGames did remedy that solution, and they gave you the streaming from the PC, but there was still that timer that was counting down. Well, now in this firmware, Glenn, they actually did fix it. And so what we're going to do is, as you guys can see my screen here, I want you guys to take notice here. We have as long as my screensaver don't kick on.
Yeah, we will have Metal Slug.
We have Metal Slug X here, and if you notice, there's a little cloud below that. That means that you can play this, in the cloud with your friends, with somebody over the internet. But if you look right below it, Fatal Fury Special has a little arrow pointing down. That means you can't play that over with a friend or two.
Right, you got to have that cloud icon. The cloud icon means
yes,
you can play it with a friend over the net.
So, like Glenn said, Glenn's going to be in charge right now. I'm going to go to his camera, but he's going to go set up a game, and he's going to kind of walk you through the process after you've gone and added friends on the website. Now, you got to make sure that they accept it, or it's not going to show up in the drop-down, Glenn.
Right. They got to be a friend. You can't just poach anybody. They have to accept it. That's right.
Okay. So go ahead and walk us through the steps here that you're going to do to get me a game.
Right. So again, we're assuming already you've gone to the arcade.net, you've logged in your portal, and you've added, and friends have actually accepted you to play with them. Now, when you come back into your arcade.net, any game, like he was saying a moment ago, that has a cloud, means you can play with a friend over the net. So we're going to play Metal Slug X, because that's actually a very action-oriented game. And actually, I went too far back. Let's go back. I want to go back. What did I do? Get back to arcade.net. Let me back here. Here we go. Okay, so we'll pick Metal Slug X. Now, that's a very action-oriented game, so you want to make sure there's not a lot of latency when you're playing it, because it's a very high reaction type of game. So I'm going to go into the game, and I'll select it again to start it up. Now, once you start the game up, you're going to press the menu button, and you'll see a new option at the top where you can actually add your friend. So right now it's waiting for the server to start up, and it's here. You hit that again. You look over the timer. First of all, you can see there's no numbers in here. It's totally just a bunch of dots. So it's not running any timer. And then if you look all the way over here on the right, you have friends. And currently I have the Buzz, the Tech Buzz, and Retro Ralph. So there's 2 people we can invite. Now, you can only invite one other person at this point in time. We're kind of hoping, and he mentioned earlier before, maybe that in the future they can add maybe Turtles or Simpsons and add a 4-player, have 4 friends join at the same time. But for right now, it is only for 2 people. So I'm going to go all the way over. And then down 1, you can see I now have my plus highlighted orange. I'm going to press A on it. And he should now be receiving a little icon notification on his screen that I invited him into this game. So let's wait and see when he gets that little notification.
So now if you guys look, just like Glenn said, I got a little blinking person on Metal Slug X right here in the upper left corner. So what I'm going to do is that basically lets me know that Glenn wants to play a game with me. And if you also notice up here next to ArcadeNet, there's also those double people little icon that's in there. So I'm going to click the A button, and it's going to say multiplayer request. I say, okay, it's Glenn's retro show. He wants me to play with him, so I'm going to click A. So right now you're seeing the video from my cabinet. So the server's starting up.
Now, what we noticed before, I could actually start the game, and while I'm playing it, he can add a coin in and join in the game. You don't have to start at the exact same time. Of course, I'm going to wait, but it's not necessary. If I was already playing, I can still invite him, and when he's available, he can just put a coin in and join the game. At least it worked that way here in Metal Slug X. You see, we have the 2 credits in here now.
Yep.
I'm player 1. He's showing us player 2 on my machine.
Yep. I'm player 2. And
that's only because I did the invitation.
So now today the latency's up near 60, but it's not bad.
No, I mean, I'm going left and right, and it's actually pretty good.
Now, granted, we are streaming video to everybody. Usually my latency's only like 2, 3, but again, we are streaming this video to Facebook, so I half anticipate it to be have a little bit of latency.
Well, also, I got in my house, I got Cole. I'm sure he's on Fortnite right now. I have my brother streaming, YouTube, my mother's streaming. So I don't have the highest broadband, but even with that being said, I have just standard house, broadband, and it's working very well. I think it's very acceptable.
Now, Glenn, some people did say that it'd be nice to have a feature to be able to have like a party chat, kind of like what we're doing right now. And I know yesterday you and I called each other on Facebook, but you could do it with Skype. You could get your friend in a Skype chat, and have your laptop nearby and just chat, kind of like you and I did yesterday, without all the microphones and everything. So, I mean, there's ways of doing this to where you can have the chat back and forth, like, oh, Glenn, watch out, watch your backside, guys coming,
right,
do different things like that.
I mean, it would be a neat thing to add to here, of course, but like I said, it's just as easy to just launch a Skype session or Facebook chat or something like that to do that. Doesn't take away from how fun this is.
No, absolutely. I mean, like I haven't had any complaints with it. Like I said, even with the latency being like right now, but we're still at 60 frames a second, around 70 seconds latency. Go ahead. I'll get the tanker here when it comes out.
You get the tank. You get the tank.
I'll get the tank here. If we make it that far. But
again, the machine's running it very well. Again, this is a free. This feature is free. ArcadeNet right now is in beta, so that's also free at the moment. They'll eventually start, I think, charging for that. And I think they will start charging, for this feature. Is that correct? They're going to be having a fee for this as well.
They're going to have a fee for this. I believe it's $20 a month, which I will say this, and guys, this is honest feedback. I'm going to say this. Sony PlayStation $7.99 a month for online downloading, downloading games. I really think $19.99 is a lot. I think that's asking a lot. I mean, you're going to have hardcore guys that are going to, want to do it. But I really think.
Look at that! Oh,
yep, it's kicking.
My machine hosed up. I don't know if you saw that. Mine crashed.
Yeah, it must be your internet's kind of lagging because it kicked me out.
Go back in.
But I think $19.99 is a lot. I think you need to stay competitive with Xbox and PlayStation to really get the gamers on board with this. If you're going to treat it like Harold was saying, like this is a console, then you need to do that. So, okay, so mine got hosed completely. It was telling me there's no signal, so I got to reboot the whole system. So I must, again.
So I'll show this part. So I'm going to start the game. Keep talking, and then when you come, you can just join into my session. I sent you the invite.
Okay. So whatever it did, because again, I'm streaming from my end here. I'm streaming out to you guys, and then doing this, and I'm sure my wife's up there, and my son and my daughter, they're all on the internet right now, so they're tanking the internet.
Right. That's always something to consider when you're playing this online like this.
Yes. So if you want, take a look at the chat room, Glenn, while I get back into the game here, and let's see if anybody has any comments.
Boom. Make sure I got your invitation still there.
Yep, nope, I'm going back in. I already see your invitation, so we're good.
Cool.
They're just seeing my machine boot up right now.
Oh.
See, like it's saying right now, it's saying failed to connect to server. So, this was working perfect yesterday.
Yep, and actually I have a little icon down here saying waiting for you to join. There's a little person down here.
Yep.
On my screen.
So, I'm wondering what's going on now. Why it won't. Try going back out and re-enabling, because maybe that session died.
Okay, let's go out.
Because it ejected us, and then resend an invite.
Okay, I'm going to go back in.
Like yesterday, we played with the firmware. We played a good half an hour. We played Metal Slug. We got to the level where we were jumping up and that clamp was coming up after us. And we had no issues. We ended up stopping that game. We played the fighting game first. And we played that for 15 minutes?
Easily, and I got my ass handed to me every second, to be honest.
Did you send a new invite?
Yeah, I did. And
all right. I'm going to try to join now.
One right now.
I'm going to try to join. So let's see what happens here. Okay, it says server starting up. Let's see if it hoses. Okay, so that's all it was. So that's good that we could do that, right? So if you have an issue where that happens, where it locks up on you like that due to, excessive internet usage, you want to make sure to, get out of the session. So I'm in here with Glenn.
I had started the game,
yep.
And you just joined. So
I just joined.
No problem. You can be halfway through a game, and they can join at any point in time.
Yep.
As long as the game supports it, obviously. If the game has to support someone joining in the middle of a game.
It actually seems to be running a lot better now, too. I don't know.
The latency's down to 20, well, it's about 28, 60 frames a second.
On yours?
Yeah, I'm
getting my latency's going to be... Yeah, mine's going to be higher because I'm streaming and I'm bringing you in on video, too, so... but
I know, I was not stupid. I'm letting you start it.
No, that's all right.
Gives me an advantage now. I got an advantage.
That's all right. That's all right. But just so people know, your latency shouldn't be this high because you're not going to be streaming it like we are, and you're not going to be having somebody on video with you doing this. So we just kind of want
anything. This is showing you how good it is because we are doing all those things and it's still playing pretty well.
Exactly. So, and one of the things, I know people were saying earlier this morning that they were getting some checksum errors when they were installing it. Now, I can't speak for AtGames, but I can tell you from my own personal experience with the technology and pulling things from a server, what that usually amounts to is because that the file was damaged on download. So, not saying there's 50 million people downloading all these firmware updates with the arcade, but that could have stemmed from when everybody found out that the firmware was out. I don't know how big their servers are, Glenn. Everybody could have been hitting it all at one shot, and it was causing some failed downloads.
Right.
that's just a suspicion. That's not anything AtGames told me. That's just me kind of like knowing what I dealt with Apple downloading updates sometimes on opening day. Everybody wants to get their hands on the update as quick as possible. I get it, but like I said, we've kind of had the privilege of playing with this before, and we had to install it via USB, and we really didn't have any issues.
Right, but we did install it in a different way from the download.
Correct.
So we can't say for sure, if there was a problem last night or not, because we definitely installed it through a different fashion because it was a beta that we installed.
But I also think that, again, without their confirmation on it, and they might not even know. That's the only thing I could think of is potentially what the issue might have been, because it seems like, if I'm not mistaken, Glenn, the majority of people right now are not having issues downloading it.
Right. It was only earlier in the day today, so and
it could have been the time of the day too.
Oh, yep. It just came back again. I froze up for a second there, and it's probably because of my internet connection. So, again, when you're playing games online like this, as most people probably already know, through Xbox or PlayStation or the Switch, your internet connection is going to kind of drive how well the game plays.
Yeah, mine's going all right. I'm in the latency. I'm in like 76, but again, we're streaming. It's still 60 frames a second. It's holding tight at that, which is pretty impressive.
Don't shoot my camel.
I'm not. I'm trying to shoot this guy. He's like...
Oh, not you.
Oh.
The tank is shooting my poor camel.
There's a guy. He's like... Do you see him? He's hiding under that leg there, and he just won't die.
Yep. He's a commander.
Yeah, we should be able to beat him. We should be able to kill him there or something. I don't know. I'm going to go under the tank and start shooting
Oh! I got nailed. I tell you, the Metal Slug series is just a great, great game. Mindless shooting.
So, do we want to back out of this for now and just talk to them for a little bit, and we could always try another game?
We could do that.
All right.
Absolutely. Boom.
So let's
go
hit menu, and then we'll quit out of it. So one of the things else I want to tell some folks out there. So I was talking, and I forget his name, and if he's watching, please say, yo, it was me. There was a guy that I was talking to that he posted a video that him and his 10-year-old child was playing the new Street Fighter 5, which I had purchased for like $7 the other day. And Glenn, I could not get that stupid thing to open up. Now, mind you, Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat opened right up. I was playing it. Well, you've seen the videos. But, but this would not open it. And then I started investigating, and he said something about antivirus, and I never thought about it. There's an outdated version of Avast that's on this system that I was just too lazy to uninstall. I uninstalled it, rebooted the computer, and wouldn't you know, it started to work. So, if you're having issues with Steam playing games, check your antivirus, because it could be notorious for causing you issues like I had earlier today. So, two heads are better than one. So it was great that he gave that suggestion, and we were able to look into it and get it resolved. So
the one thing I want to mention, at least for myself, is I still personally have not gotten the local streaming to work. I know some people have been having that problem as well. We were kind of troubleshooting again last night a little bit on it. So people are running it no problem. Me, I can't get it to launch. I always get just an error coming up saying, error, do you want to send it to AtGames? Now, it was mentioned that the program should always run from an actual desktop. I am running it from a laptop, but it's an i7 with a NVIDIA 1650, 16 gigs of RAM, and I hardlined it. But so some things are still working. I remember they are adding a lot of these enhancements at a pretty feverish pace, I think. And sometimes it's not going to work for everyone. But as long as they're monitoring the forums, which they are, they seem to be pretty quick at going back and trying to get the bugs squashed. So I'm hoping that mine will get fixed soon, because I am dying to try streaming some PC games onto here. Like a cool toy was showing the Dreamcast one, which is fantastic that I was working on there. And I think that's a great feature without having to go through their their pay service. That's a nice feature that they have. Just doesn't work for me just yet.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple people. I was reading the chat while you were talking, and a couple of people were also saying that $20 is too much. And listen, AtGames has done a killer job so far, and please, I know they've been very receptive on feedback. And again, it's just feedback, guys. The community. If you want to stay competitive with the others, you got to kind of price it, even if it's $9.99. I think a lot of the guys in here would probably jump on board for $9.99 for what you have to offer, especially if you start adding games like the Ninja Turtles and the Simpsons and any other 4-player games like X-Men.
Right. If you start adding a lot of these what we consider A-class titles, yes. I would agree. I mean, right now they different fun games like the Metal Slug series and some fighters on there, but they definitely have to keep adding to that some high-quality A-list games for that kind of price point.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm muting my screensaver, so if it kicks back on while we're streaming.
Yeah, I just turned mine down too. Actually, I dig that music, but some people might go, I can't take it.
Yeah, I just didn't want to kick it on while we're trying to talk here and getting it.
And I'll mention something else as well. I was talking to my friend ETA Prime yesterday, and he was not a fan of AtGames. I mean, he really was not. But he went out and he spent his own money and he picked up one of these machines the other day, and we were talking a little bit, and he did a video about it, and he was like, I think the rest of us were quite surprised at the quality of the machine. He went over everything about it, the controls. If you haven't seen his video, go check out ETA Prime on YouTube, and even the spinner, the buttons, the joystick. Again, he says it's not like Swana, top quality, but it is no way low quality. They all were very acceptable. He was actually surprised at how well the joysticks felt, the spinner felt, the construction of the unit, the monitor, and he was surprised. He initially only thought they only had the Pace streaming service, and I let him know that they actually have one that's actually for local, and he started trying that out as well. And knowing ETA Prime like I do, and we were talking about it, he is going to get to the guts of the machine and kind of find out more what's under the hood. That's kind of his forte. I've done that as well, but to be quite honest, I didn't want to take a chance. I have too many different reviews I need to do on this. I don't want to take a chance of breaking anything. But ETA Prime can sometimes be a little more adventurous. So definitely take a look at his channel. And again, I take my hat off to AtGames because he's taken some people who were definitely anti-AtGames, definitely anti their previous product line, and he went out and spent $600 to jump into this from Sam's Club, and he was actually quite surprised at the quality. It kind of turned him around a little bit with how the machine was playing.
I think that goes without saying. A lot of the people, Glenn, we've seen that have stated that they had an issue with AtGames, and they stated that now AtGames made them a believer. They're like us, right? They have the arcade one-ups, but last time I played these was about 2 weeks ago when I had company over. I've been on this cabinet nonstop because, again, Glenn, it's got games on it that are arcade-based. I'm trying to keep it arcade-based. It's something my son and I, we love the big screen. We love the ability to play the new school games and the old school games. Not regretting that I have all these cabinets because it's great for parties, but I'm saying, like, if you don't want all that, this is your be-all, end-all. You don't need any of that if you don't have the room.
It is like what Harold said, and I would never have said it myself, but it makes kind of sense what he did say, calling it like a console.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to be an arcade machine, but it's console-like just because of all the different features, all the different games that are on it, and the ability to pretty seamlessly add more, whether it be through their service or on your own. And I know they have a lot more things down the pipeline that are going to be even more exciting. So just the fact that they're constantly pushing the envelope, constantly adding to it, giving you more bang for your buck, whether you want to keep it as is or if you want to pay for additional services, the key there is options. You can either take it or not. You could do things on your own or not. And they're listening and they're implementing, which is great.
So one of the other things, I know you made mention about this. If you didn't see the video, we want to give him a shout out just because we want you to go watch this video. Cool Toy did a video the other day, and I can't remember if you said it, Glenn, earlier in this recording or the other one we got screwed up, but I do want to make, Glenn did mention it. So We want to make sure that you go check it out because he shows a Dreamcast emulator called Redream, I believe it's called, and he did it on his PC, and he was streaming it to his Legends Arcade, and he was using the control panel to play it. So basically, the way it looks, you could have emulators, like maybe you could have Emulation Station, anything like that running. You may be able to control this. I don't have it running on my PC. I have it on my son's PC. I have it set up for it, and I thought about, trying to do it, install the server software on it. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Plus, I don't like doing things over Wi-Fi because then you end up with lag and drop and latency. It's not really a good test. That's just me. But definitely go check it out.
He did a great video, and Cool Toy makes great videos.
Yes.
And, he showed it playing, and it seemed to work really, really well. So, again, that opens up a ton of options with different emulators. Magic Engine for PC Engine. It's one of my favorite classic machines. But it's just the fact that this company is allowing these other things on here. It just goes to show that they really want this to be like a Swiss Army knife. They want it to be customizable for you, and that's a really good thing. But it just amazes me how quickly they're coming out with these builds. I do think that maybe they just need to do a little more testing on them before they get released, just to help squash out any bugs that might be there for the end user. Because like what happened to Retro Ralph that one time, where his machine kind of got a little messed up. It turned out it could have been fixable. But it's the fact that most end users wouldn't be a Retro Ralph. They wouldn't be a Cool Toy. There wouldn't be a URI who could really dig into the machine and fix it. A normal person just playing console games with a kid getting on there, if it crashes their the main machine, that's kind of bad. So I think what they're doing is great, and I appreciate all the software updates. Trust me, I want to see things as quick as everyone else, but I wish they would just spend a little more time in the beta testing phase of it, just to make sure that it's as clean a release as it can be. Because when you do have a release that goes out and you have a problem, that's a little bit of a PR issue, because now people are saying, oh, there we go, it's not working. And we don't want that for them or the company. We want them to succeed because it's really a nice machine, and I want to see how far they can take it.
No, I agree with you. I think the QA should go a little bit longer, just because the guys that are testing it, us included, you got to be able to put it through the ringer. And I understand. Listen, AtGames, they are super excited to get this stuff out. We're super excited that they're wanting to get this out. But I think that quality over quantity in some instances, right? I think that needs to happen. And hey, there's a happy medium. But what I would say to the guys in here in the community here is just relax. It's an early console. If you're afraid to do the update, let one of us do it, and we'll tell you if it's not something you really want to dive into right now, so we don't end up with some messes. Because there's always somebody there that's doing it. But is there any questions? You guys want to see any special features? Glenn and I could demonstrate that you don't understand how it works, or you're not sure. Let's use this forum, Glenn, where we could kind of answer any questions, because we've done just about everything with this system up to this point that you can do, sort of doing what Ralph did and put a Raspberry Pi in it and mod the control deck and do all that. Just as is, right? So I don't know if there's any comments in the chat room coming in on Facebook.
I was just seeing a couple of comments about people saying that they should throw in some free ArcadeNet free time. Now, if you purchase it from Sam's Club, you do get 3 months. They include 3 months with the purchase price of the machine. Mm-hmm. Not the Walmart version, however. But again, it's almost worth it to spend the $45 to go to Sam's Club. That's what I did, because you get not only the ArcadeNet time, but you also get the little blast dongle here with some Namco games, which are excellent. And the machines, they're basically the same, but there's 2 extra features on there for a little bit more money, and you get a Sam's Club membership, which, I go there and get cookies now and brownies. They get a big box of them.
Yeah.
So it was a double win for me. My dentist will love me even more, so it's a win for him.
So let's talk about this, because I don't want these guys to think we're not seeing this. They have a watch party going on in the one group. And Eric Draven, I think I said his last name right, he says internet speed has nothing to do with when you do the arcade link from your local network. He's 110% correct. It's all based on network traffic. Now, what you need to keep in mind if you're like me, I have a lot of smart devices in my house. I can turn the arcades on and off by just telling Google some words. It'll turn it off.
Yep.
I also have lights that my house turns on, my Nest, there's a lot of stuff in my house that I control, my deadbolt.
That's a big problem. It's kind of a problem today because my house is the same way. I probably have a good 70 Wi-Fi devices in the house. This is 71. And that's in addition to 3 members of the household streaming as we're doing this, and we're streaming and playing the game. So, there's still a limit of how much, even if you have a lot of broadband out there, most home routers, they have to handle it. They have the processor in them that's got to handle all that data. And there's bottlenecks.
Yeah, no. So those are the things that you need to keep in mind. So, a lot of background processes that are running. I know somebody saying, I think Eric said, he was referring to the demo that Cool Toy said. Cool Toy might have just misspoke. It might have just been a whoops. We've all done it in videos. It happens. So again, I'm sure if you asked him, he'd be like, it's just it happens from time to time. People say things that they meant to say one thing and then said another. But what I like to do is, if I'm serious about getting that latency down, and I can most of the time do it, all my other computers are shut down except for maybe 1 or 2. And that's because I don't want background processes of transferring data. Dropbox is one that's notorious, right? When it's syncing across the network and it's syncing.
Right.
iCloud's another one. iCloud is, and I'm an Apple guy, so let me just state that. It's notorious for bogging down your local network as well as your internet traffic because it's syncing amongst all your devices locally. Now, some will argue, yeah, but it does it in the server up above. This is true, but it's also tying up resources trying to get that information up there. So again, look into some of those things if you're getting high latency. That I've had it where I've been able to get my latency down when I've gone to Steam and just played. I have videos out there that you can see the 2 to 3 millisecond Glen ping time, latency. So,
and everybody's watching. Latency is like golf. You want to have a lowest number as possible. You don't want the high score and latency. You let your friend have that.
Not at all. Not at all. So, any other questions coming through that we could answer? I mean, all in all, though, Glen, I started getting into some of this. I did put a picture out there in a video, and not a video, but a picture out there. There's some guys out there. He has a Samsung, but I actually got one of them SanDisk low-profile thumb drives. And before,
I saw that.
Yeah, before I was using just the 8 gig one that I had laying around here, just to get going. And the reason I did this was I was playing the game the one time, and my son likes to get up on the controllers. I don't know how else to explain it, but he really gets into it. So he kind of leans into it. And he whacked the thumb drive the one time, and he actually popped it out of the USB port. It didn't break anything. It didn't even break the thumb drive because it has my thumb drive has one of those movable where you can rotate it to hide the thumb part or the drive part.
Right.
And he got all nervous thinking he broke it, and I'm like, no, you didn't break it. But it started making me think. I have Thanksgiving here this week. Going to have a lot of nieces and nephews that are between the ages of 3 and 5 that always play these arcades, and I'm like, oh man, they whacked that off, Glen. I'm going to be in some doo-doo. So I got 128 gig. If you go on there, some people are asking about hard drives. You should be able to use hard drives, but 128 gig for
you should be
under $20, Glen. Well, I put a hard drive on.
And now I mentioned, but remember, Black Friday is right around the corner as well, so you're going to see those things get real cheap. And I'll be going out there with with a pocket full of cash to buy a whole bunch of them because you can use them for so many different things. And again, they're getting cheaper every day. And $20 for that, for the low profile you got, was a steal.
Yep. And Eric in that watch party, he's saying, I always kept a strong internal network, and he's 100% right. He's you want to try to keep the network as strong as you can. But Glen, I'm glad I made the switch to go into that low profile. Now, one thing I am looking into is trying to find a USB hub that they have some that have flat lines that you could kind of do like when Ralph did it. Remember he ran the wires between the bezel and the controller?
Right.
You could do that, but I would like to tap into the wires underneath. And they use ribbon wires.
That's what that's what I was going to start doing myself. I mean, you have to have some solder abilities or be able to find a connector, but I'm going to probably be desoldering it and putting a hub underneath and just continuing one along. So yeah, that's something. If you want to make it really clean, you're going to have to put in something like that. But you have to be careful too, because I know that Bill had put one in and it was drawing too much current, the particular hub he used, and it basically overloaded the port and didn't work. So you have to sometimes, just be careful what you purchase.
So you could alleviate that too by getting a powered USB hub. So even if you're going to mount it underneath, have a power strip in the back of the. I've actually put a power strip in the back of my Ultimate unit because of the NDI device that I have in there, along with the HDMI splitter, which is why you guys are able to see the screen without me pointing a camera at it. So I would just plug it into that. But Glenn, even having a 5-port HDMI switcher inside there, like if you wanted to hook up a Xbox or a PlayStation or even the blast dongles, you could have them connected and left inside the cabinet at all times.
Yep.
And
I'm actually waiting for someone to mod this and put some shelves in here.
Yes.
You could put a nice glass door here and put some consoles in there, and I think that'll be a neat mod to have. You have those all up here and have your consoles below it. So I'm waiting for someone to do that. I'm not very good with the woodworking or glass, so I'll leave it to someone else. But there's room in there. This whole bottom is empty. There's nothing in there at all. It's just to hold up the rest. So you could definitely put shelves in there and showcase your consoles or something.
Well, one of the things that I talked about doing was I'd like to get, and maybe JC, if you're watching from Tulsa Arcades, one of the things that would be really cool is having that custom door being made on the front without that splash panel. But I was going to put some rack rails in there to mount, to almost like server mount, because I have some trays that you could put, like I used for Mac Minis that I used in my rack. I could put a console in there, Glenn, slide it in there, but then you can open it up and then slide the console out on rack rails. So I think that's something we could definitely do. It's just we're having fun with it the way it is.
We are, but this thing definitely has a lot of potential in modifying it, and I think this lower part right here, there's just so much room in there that you could do something with. I'm just waiting to see what beer fridge, Coke fridge, consoles, whatever you want. There's a lot of room down there, and once the community starts really engaging with new cover art for this thing, speakers, there's gonna be a lot of stuff coming out for this thing in the coming months. I feel it. There's too many people out there eyeing it right now.
I think more and more too. We're getting a lot of people that are they're looking to buy it now. I know some guys are holding off, thinking that there's going to be like a huge Black Friday discount deal on it. But I hate to burst anybody's bubble. But Glenn, would you agree? I don't see that coming.
Right now, it's in too short a supply right now. I'd have to agree. Anywhere it's been at right now, it's kind of selling out pretty quick.
Yep.
So I mean, nothing's out of the realm of possibility. I'll never say never. But you might have a better chance of finding a flying unicorn.
Yeah. Like you said, never say never. But I think we're pretty close to never.
I can say that if you're watching this stream and people, have them join the official AtGames fan page on Facebook. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, AtGames is going to give away one of these consoles. So the more people we get, the quicker we get it, the sooner some lucky person will get one of these machines.
There you go. And what are we up to number-wise on that now?
I think we're at about 1,100 right now, or just shy of that. So that's not too bad, but we got a ways to go. Got about 9,000 more to go. But when we get there, someone is going to win one of these units.
We just
gave away 5 blast consoles when Howard was on the other day.
And I just saw this before we went live on air. If you go to @Games on Facebook, they are doing a holiday giveaway right now of up to $500 that could buy your console. I don't know if they're giving away the console or if it's $500 so you can buy the console. But it's a $500 prize, and they're basically saying if you have an AtGames Legends Ultimate cabinet, decorate it out for festive, for Christmas, the holiday, and send them a picture, and they give you an email address to send it to, and you could be in the running to win that. And if you don't have a Legends Ultimate cabinet, but you can be creative, they'll give you a template. Like I don't know, Glenn, if they're good with Photoshop, they could Photoshop some Christmas swag onto it and make it look festive. And if they get picked for that, then they win $500.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
But you have to go check it out. They put it out on Instagram.
I'll get my crayons out right now.
Yeah. So we want to make sure we don't want to stay on just to stay on and yak with you guys, but we want to see if you have. Again, this is total impromptu. We saw the community was struggling with this two-player thing, so we decided, this is how we would do the YouTube video for it, and then share it, and then put it up. Glenn's going to put it on his channel. I'm going to put it on my channel. So
you're showing your console there, right? Why don't you pull up one of those vector games just so people can see, how nice that they look.
Sure.
Because that's one of the things that they did add was, they improved the vector graphics on here.
All right, let's see where we go.
And you definitely have the ability to show it better than they'll see it on my camera here.
Should we do so this Asteroids one, or the 2600 one you want me to do?
I definitely want to do the arcade. The arcade one, okay. It just looks so much better than it did before.
Okay, so I'll be honest. I didn't look at it before, so I don't know what it. I don't know how it was before that. So
I can tell you, Asteroids, Space Invaders are my two all-time favorites, and I was kind of taken back how it looked before, but now it looks really, really nice. Now they did have to shrink the screen down a little bit, try and keep because vectors are not like raster graphics; it's completely different technology. So to make it look good, it's a little bit smaller, but it's worth it. There's still plenty of real estate on the screen, but it definitely looks sharp, bright, and the way it should look.
So let me go up to Pixel Perfect here. Hang on a second, because that's what it's supposed to be on, Pixel Perfect. And then there you can see, there the graphics. Now you guys saw how bad it looked just a little bit ago. This is Pixel
and actually,
Perfect.
if you see the screensaver will show you how it looked originally. It looked like Legos.
Well,
which is definitely not something you want for vector.
I could do that right now, Glenn. I'll just go to center and look at. You could definitely see a difference in this. The lines are not crisp. And I'll be honest, I am not good at Asteroids. So.
Oh, that's my game. When I was a kid, I turned the machine over so many times, the manager actually came out and unplugged it because they were making too much noise.
Are you serious?
I had such a good game going on. I flipped it twice, and there were so many people. I was only like 12. No, 79. I was 10. My God, I was like 10.
Wow.
And the manager came back and unplugged it, and man, that destroyed me. That was my moment of fame right there. And he turned it off.
My son
didn't be my quarterback either.
My son actually is a big fan of Centipede. He got into Centipede, which I'm surprised because of how old it is. But he'll come on here, he'll play Centipede on here, he'll go over there, and he'll play that Centipede. He likes the Centipede on here better, so kudos to you guys at AtGames. And I didn't pay him to say it, but he did say he played it over here. He likes. I don't know if he just likes the feel of it over here better, but he plays it over here, and he kind of leaves it alone.
You know what it is? I can tell you exactly what he is. Your son likes good games. Just that simple.
Well, I mean, but I have the 12-in-1 cab over there, and he'd rather play it over here on the Legends Ultimate. So I don't, and I'll be honest. To be fair, I have not played Centipede on this system yet. I haven't played any of like the real retro games. I started playing like 64th Street, and I'm a big beat 'em up fan.
I noticed because you were beating me up.
Well, the fighting games, I play them because my son likes them. But I like Crystal Castle. Now, that's one of my an older favorite, but that's one of my games that I like if you want to say like an older game.
For me, it would be Missile Command. If we're going like a boat with a ball, Missile Command was my game.
Now, Lunar Lander, that was hard.
That was a fun game, but the one thing that's missing from that one is the throttle. I mean, that was in the arcade machine. You had a big throttle you did for your thrust, and it loses a little bit when you don't have something like that type of control.
Right.
But still a fun game. Do you want to try? Want to show them a beat 'em up? You beat me up in a fighting game. You want to pick a fighting game out?
Glenn's just glutton for punishment.
I am.
Yeah. Oh, you on the ArcadeNet? Yeah, we can do that. Let's go.
Yeah, go to the ArcadeNet and pick a fighting game so people can see how bad I am and how good you are. Oh, I'm not gonna make you look good. How about that? I'll make you.
Oh, there we go. At least somebody can do that, right? So I'm going to go full screen so you guys can kind of see exactly what we got to do here. So I think we were in Art of Fighting before, weren't we?
We were. Oh yeah.
So if I go in here and I hit play, see, Glen's the one that instituted this last time. So I'm going to go into this, and then once I'm in here, you guys will see it on the screen here because I got it full screen. So Glen, this was something that I saw yesterday. It says server starting up in 3 minutes, although it doesn't take 3 minutes. Not exactly sure why it says that, but I did have this yesterday, and I don't know if it's just certain games or what, but I had this going into it.
I see the same thing here. Maybe the server went to sleep.
Well, I only saw it on this game because remember I saw it at the time when you invited me to this game.
Right.
So I don't know if it's this game. You know, if the boys are watching, see, it didn't take 3 minutes and it's back in. So, all right. So now we're gonna hit menu, and I'm gonna send an invite to Glen's Retro Show, and have invited. Continue. Did you get it?
I'm still on my server waiting up. Mine hasn't gone in yet, so I'm still waiting.
All right, so I'll go back to the split screen here so you guys can see. I just wanted you guys to see kind of what it looked like going down the side, so you know what you're supposed to do. And then once Glen gets the invite, we can kind of go into it.
I feel like hearing some Jeopardy music in the background.
Yeah.
Do 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 do.
So so now if I go in here and if I hit enter coin and it's just sitting here doing this, it will wait until you join, or because
I think you can probably start a game playing the computer just like in the arcade, and then if someone comes by and coins in, I think it'll let you do it that way. Because I'm still waiting with servers starting up in 3 minutes.
Okay, well, let me see. While you're getting in with the server, I'll start playing. I'll play this, and then we'll see if you get jumped in.
That works for me.
Don't laugh, guys, if I get my butt kicked, because I'm not. Glen's being nice. Glen's just not a fighting game guy.
I think you were coaxing me in, man. You were pulling off some pretty good moves there, and I don't know what I was doing.
I was figuring it out as I went. I call them button mashers. All right, so something just happened here. It just froze.
Yeah, mine is definitely taking more than 3 minutes. I'm still waiting.
So I don't know. You can see the screen froze. I'm waiting to see what happens here. I'm not touching anything. Just when I was kicking his butt, too. Okay, so now it looks like the system totally went down. Yep, I'm getting no signal. So I have to reboot the system.
Now I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm sitting here doing nothing. I'm going to reboot mine as well.
System.
So let's bring it back up.
I'll pick a different fighting game because maybe it's something with that because that's the one we did. Well, hopefully they're watching and they can kind of look into it and give us some answers on it. Again, This is a new service. It's a new feature.
Firmware just came out, 8 o'clock this morning?
Yeah, just came out this morning.
This morning, 8 a.m.
So, not making excuses for them, so please don't anybody take it that way. It's just, we don't have answers as to why it did that. But we did have this problem yesterday, so I know it's not from us streaming, because Glenn and I both had that issue yesterday. I wonder if it's with that particular game. So I'll go into Fatal Fury. Oh, no, wait, I can't. That's only... How
about Art of Fighting 2?
What page?
Mine, I guess, it's the first page.
Go ahead. You go into it. And
okay, I'll invite you?
Yeah, invite me. Art of Fighting... Well, that Art of Fighting 2 was the one I was just in. And that was one that said server waiting for 3 minutes.
Well, right now it just says I'm in already. So
you're in? Then I'll go in.
I am. Right. So I'll go over and invite you over.
Okay, so now it's saying server starting up. So up now it says server starting in 3 minutes. But it won't be 3 minutes. It'll be,
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. Anybody in the chat room saying anything? Let me look.
I get some practicing it before you come in and kick my butt.
He needs all the practice he can get.
I do.
Still says server starting at 3 minutes.
The computer's going to knock me out in 2 seconds.
All right, so now I'm in.
Oh, he's pummeling me! Oh my god!
Although it's asking me to play the computer here.
Let me see if the invitation's still there. I'm gonna go back. Oh, we send the invitation.
But I'm inside the game, so let me
We hit the menu. You gonna go back out and go back in?
I think so. I think I'm gonna exit out just to see if I get it. To see if you're still in there.
Invited. You are invited.
Okay, so I got the message indicator. You can see it on the screen there. It's blinking. Okay. So maybe certain games, like fighting games, you have to actually go out and go back in.
Or you have to simply wait for the invitation, and one person is in it, initiated, and then you join at that point. In any case, the computer killed me.
You have to hit the continue button or something.
Let's see here. You're in, right?
Yep, I'm in. I just got in.
All right, let me pick somebody else here, because I'm just... No matter... Oh, I'm going to pick this guy. He looks like a loser anyway, Jack. All right, I'll pick Jack. So when I lose, I can blame Jack. Come on, pick Jack.
So now I noticed I was able to get into the game really quick this time.
I think they might have maybe some optimizations that still have to happen with the code from them. Ah, come on, I should be able to sit on you. What's going on here?
I don't know.
I'll give you my butt.
You're throwing his weight around there.
Hit butt, come on. Oh, butt!
I think I just thumped him in the eye. Glen's going to be practicing with his son. He's going to be like, hey, we got to play these fighting games because I got to...
I mean, I get killed every time. The first fighting game I actually played was Fighting Street CD on the TurboGrafx 16, which was probably not the best game to learn on.
We always played Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. That was our first ones when we played. And then when Dreamcast came out, it was Soul Calibur. We jumped on that.
Soul Calibur was a great game.
But my brother still kicks my butt to this day with Mortal Kombat. Like he knows every move, and it's like muscle memory. He gets on the arcade and he's like, okay, which one's high kick, low punch, high punch, and he'll just sit there and he'll just like bam, bam, bam. He's doing all the moves, and I'm like.
Another good game was Battle Arena to Shinden and Tekken. Oh, I really.
Oh, Tekken, yeah. What the heck did you just do to me?
I just used my ninja skills.
That was like a monkey flip and a half. He looks like a monkey. The heck? The heck you doing? No. Get back here.
Oh, at least it's close. It could be either way. Until I said something.
Ah.
And then... At least you can't see my face all beat up. I got a mask on. You can't see all my marks.
He gets flogged with the stick.
Well, you're like 10 feet tall compared to me. My God, what am I, 5?
I don't know. What is it? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, but it seems to be the shorter they are, the quicker they fall. I'm like practically. Oh, it's so close!
Oh, I thought you were going to get a win on me there.
Hey, this guy's calling the cops.
But I mean,
you broke my mask.
But on this,
and my claws.
Did you notice any like major latency that made you like unplayable? I mean, there's a little bit of latency.
It's not bad, but it is there.
It is there.
But again, we're not doing a professional, Street Fighter thing here. It's just and I'm definitely not doing good anyway. I can't blame the latency, but it's really not that bad.
No, Glen's just really that bad.
I am that bad.
Here comes the challenger. What happened here? Oh.
Okay. So, hey, try and beat up a girl. See how that goes.
Okay, so we were in the fight, and then you ended up jumping back in. That's okay. So for some reason it didn't work before. I also noticed something else. Sometimes with my SD card or my thumb drive, it doesn't always boot correctly. Sometimes it'll show like 2 ROMs of everything.
I haven't seen that.
Or it has the artwork that's wrong. It'll just show like a black box. You're taking the low road. Oh, he got me!
Yes!
He got me!
Oh, I gotta get it twice! My God.
Yeah, it's best of 3. See, this guy doesn't do any low kicks or anything.
No, I'm gonna kick you in the knees like the girl that I am, and I'm gonna win.
Glen's gonna kick my butt with this one.
Oh no! You can't hit a woman. What's wrong with you?
I'm gonna sure try. I gotta figure out how to do that move again. Come on. Oh, you got me. All right, you got me.
I feel not so.
Do you feel vindicated?
So a little bit.
A little bit.
Even though I'm a pretty blonde girl, I feel vindicated. That's fine. It works for me.
What do we got in here in the chat? Anything anybody's saying?
The controls, are very good for this type of thing. I mean, they're not.
Let's
they
back
don't feel
out
like
of
you're
this.
not going where you're going. Want to pick a different game?
Yeah, we can. I'm just backing out of it. I was gonna
check
and see what the chat says. Anything? Somebody says with the new app, I have gaming computer all set up with Hyperspin. I can play all the Legends, right? Oh, I can play on the Legends, right? You should be able to.
And actually, you should be able to. And I just saw something here from Bill, and I forgot about this. We talked about Lunar Lander before. Yeah. So on this machine, you can use the spinner here as your throttle. So use your joystick left and right, so you can control the throttle with the spinner. I forgot about that. That's true. It's still not the same as having. It might almost be better with like a trackball, because you almost had that feel. So I'll see if I can do it with the trackball. But you can use an analog input for your throttle.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That is. I mean, that Lunar Lander using just a button tap is not the same as actually feeling a little more control over your thrust, although you still crash every 5 minutes.
I have another.
Doesn't really matter
I have another game for ArcadeNet request for those guys listening and watching. You got to get.
What do they want to see?
You got to get the license for Contra. It's another. I have it on as part of my games, but my brother and I, we always loved playing that together. It's kind of like, I don't know, Glenn, if you played it, but it's a lot like the game that we played before, Metal Slug.
Yep. Good game.
It's great game.
The Arcade Warriors 3. I mean, that's
yes.
a future one. But the previous installments were good. A game from back then I used to love was Frontline. That was from Taito. People remember that one. That was a really good game. I like to try and get that working on here. But again, there's a lot to pick here. What else do we have as far as arcade? Well, how about Prisoner of War? We can try that one.
No, I don't care. Yeah, go ahead.
Take a look at that.
Start up the.
Launch it up, and I'll pull you in.
Start up the invite, and what page is that on?
I think it was the 3rd or 4th page.
All right, let's see what happens here with the. We'll see. I'll go to full screen here. Let's see what happens when the invite pops up.
Okay, I just sent the invite.
Okay, so look at it. It automatically just jumped to it. All right, so we're gonna go into
Put in some credits.
BYOG. Okay, Glen's Retro Show. And if anybody wants to add me, you can just search the Tech Buzz. That's my username on here. And happy to play if anybody wants to play.
Here you go. You popped right in. So I was already playing the game, and you popped in.
I'm getting my butt handed to me, that's for sure. I'm trying to figure out the controls. There we go. So this is a lot like Double Dragon. I
think it changes. Different screens change the playfields. But that would be a good game too, Double Dragon.
I like Double Dragon. I have all 3 of them on my add-ons. Yeah, and those are classics, man. Those, at least for me, those were classics that you played, and I'm too young to be having asteroids in the arcade, man. When I got to the arcade, it was WrestleFest and Rampage, and those were the ones that were all at like Showbiz Pizza and everything like that. I'm not old enough to have Pac-Man.
Oh man, do you see when these guys hit the floor, their eyes pop out of their head? My God, it's like you knock them on their back, their eyes are like 10 times the size.
That was when the graphics, we were like, oh yeah, those graphics are awesome.
And the first game I ever remember seeing in the arcade was Pong. It started right at the beginning.
Really?
But it wasn't until I saw Space Invaders that I was completely blown away. I remember we were in a Disney vacation in '78, and I spent a lot of time at the hotel playing Space Invaders versus wanting to go to like Disneyland or anything like that.
Now everything is virtual reality. In fact, they had this. It's an arcade in our local mall. It's called Tilt, and you have these 3D goggles that you put on, and they have like these things that spin super fast that present an image that you kind of play against for zombies and whatnot. It was pretty radical. Oh, I thought we had to go up that.
So did I.
I was over there jumping on it, trying to like, okay, how do I go up the dang rope?
Take my karate chop action. Come on.
Kids today, I don't know how they don't like these games.
Well, I'm getting more amazed when you're playing like the Xbox or the PS5 or 4, whatever's out these days. There's like 500 buttons to press. It's like, how do you remember all those buttons?
And they're all free roaming. Like when he plays Fortnite, I'm like, how do you know where to go? Oh, you just keep walking. Okay. Okay, well, as long as
that's what I like to do in my games. Keep walking.
Just keep walking. I mean, Zelda. I remember Zelda was just all side-scrolling, and you go through one screen at a time. And not anymore, man. You can walk all the way around Hyrule.
Yeah, I never played any Zelda games. The only one I played was the first Phantasy Star on the Master System, which I loved, and the Ys series on the TurboGrafx 16 CD. That game was phenomenal.
Really?
I never got into Zelda.
Never. Oh, I love Zeldas. What about Faxanadu?
It was a good movie, Xanadu. I remember that movie.
No. Faxanadu was it's kind of like Zelda on the NES. You had to go and get armor and swords and different items and things like that.
I tell you what got me about it, I was never good at games that took a long time to finish. I guess because I grew up in the earlier times. I want to go down, play, get a high score, and get out. Those games, you're too invested. You got to put in like 10, 20, 30, 50 hours into those games. And you got to think. You got to figure out puzzles.
Yep.
Wasn't my thing.
My son just got into Call of Duty, and that's exactly how that is, man. It's like you have to understand. It's like, I mean, I liked playing. I used to play it with buddies of mine online, and I just got the crap kicked out of me.
But I was also like, what was that game with Snake on the PlayStation? Can't think of the name. Can't think of the name of it. It was like the first PlayStation it came out with, and your character's name was Snake, and you were like had to be
Metal
stealthy.
Gear.
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid, yeah.
How are you supposed to stop a helicopter? My God.
I don't know. Yeah,
now,
Metal,
if
Metal
I was Van
Gear's
Damme,
long running.
I'd pull the helicopter down.
Hey, get back here.
And again, no, I'm in New York, and you're in
Eastern Ohio.
Eastern Ohio. So we're not incredibly far, but we're definitely not close either. And it's just amazing to be able to, to be playing like you're literally right next to me.
Yeah, I had a guy message me today. He's like, you know what? He's been looking into arcade one-ups. He's been looking into this, and he's like, man, he said with this release of them adding multiplayer over, and you can play other guys with systems. He's like, it just kind of made my decision because he only has room for like one machine, right? He doesn't want to get, get a whole mess of things, and he doesn't want to have to mod stuff and go bananas. And I'm like, yeah, you can pretty much. It's so easy with this. Now I get it. Some guys like to mod. I mean, I like to mod to an extent too, but then there's such as like overkill.
Right.
When you
but again, there's a difference. There's a difference of if you do, like I said, have one machine to kind of do everything. This is probably a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about having a machine that looks like a miniature version of, an Asteroids or Turtles, and so it just comes down to kind of what you're looking for.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one. There's nothing ever perfect for everybody. But
no,
it's good
just
to have.
If you go with the arcade one-up, you got to do a lot. You got to mod it. You got to like put a Raspberry Pi on it or something like that.
Right. If you wanted to go down that path, some people actually just want to leave it the way it is. And I think are you still going? Because my machine froze up.
It just froze. It kicked me out. So did yours?
And booted us out.
Did yours completely freeze?
It did for a second and booted me out. So I don't know if that was again our broadband that caused that, or if it was the other end.
I don't know because I can move. Last time it was broadband, it kicked me out completely, and I had to reboot. Now I'm able to move around. Are you able on your end?
Yes, I am.
So maybe it was just something with that. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think there's some work that they have to do a little bit on the back end, I think, for stability of that. Because if that continues throughout the games, I could see people getting annoyed with it. But again, we don't know.
Right.
We haven't played it long enough with two players outside of... Because yesterday we played it for, like I said, a half an hour. No issues.
Right.
But we are streaming now.
The other thing, too, is... I guess if we do get kicked out, it'd be kind of nice, since it knows who's logged in, if you can at least remember where you were.
Yes.
So at least you could go back in and continue versus losing, wherever you are in the
all
game.
over again. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to switch over to you and see.
At some point, there's going to be a paid service, and you're not going to want to get into your game and get blown out to the beginning, and now your time got eaten up, and you didn't even get back to where you were in the game. So that's something that needs to be looked at.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, what do you say we wrap this up, because it looks like a lot of people are kind of drifting off. I think we kind of
showed it all,
gave it enough to look at. But so guys, I mean, just to kind of put a topper on it, this was the two-player action over ArcadeNet. It's been pretty killer. So go test it. Don't stream while you're doing it.
But no, definitely not.
You can add myself. I'm sure, Glenn, you probably don't care if they add you as well.
No, I can play some people out there. I can loose that just about anybody out there. It's not a problem.
Yeah, play the fighting games with Glenn. If you want to feel good about yourself, just play him in the fighting games.
Yep.
Unless he's the girl, then he'll whoop your butt.
It's like elementary school all over again. I'm just getting beaten up left and right.
But yeah, guys, it was great for you guys to tune in. We really appreciate it. Now that we know what the audio issue was in the beginning of this Facebook stream, we will make sure that doesn't happen again. So.
And just a couple quick things before we end out. Again, if you guys are interested in this and you have a chance to win one, the official AtGames fan page.
You're fired.
But also, I'm fired. But on also P-Dubs over at the, was it the Toy Shock fan page? They're going to be doing an unboxing of these little miniature pinball machines. So that's going to be pretty interesting. That's coming out, actually, in about a week or so? Early December?
Yeah, I believe so.
So that looks pretty neat. So again, P-Dubs wants to do a live stream for that. So if you're on YouTube, definitely look up P-Dubs and subscribe. If he gets 1,000 subscribers, he's pretty close. I think he's got like 950. He could do a live stream of it, which is something he wants to do. So show a guy a little love. Go over to P-Dubs and subscribe, and help him be able to do a live stream of the unboxing, which I think he's going to try and do tomorrow or the next day, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, and I hope I can get to see it because they're calling for some strong winds coming through here. Hopefully we don't get any power outages, but,
Nothing says Thanksgiving like a big winter storm.
Yeah, well, we're just getting a little bit of rain, and it's like potential 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts here and there, so you know how that can go. So we'll see.
But we thank you all for watching this time. And remember, we're not going to be doing a live stream this Friday because it'll be Black Friday.
Right.
So we won't be back, I think, till December 5th.
Yeah,
and we have a guest lined up for that show. Yep, we have a guest lined up that you guys want to see next Friday. Mm-hmm. And also the Friday after that, another special guest. So definitely tune in on Fridays for us. Just not this Friday.
Yeah, and if you missed any of this, we're getting it uploaded to YouTube, and you'll get to see all of it in its glory on YouTube. So, all right, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Thanks for watching.